Today's video mentions topics of mental illness and violence. If those are things that do bother you, I would recommend clicking off this video now. There are a bunch of other really good videos on my channel that I do recommend watching. Go check those out. And again, you are not alone. If you ever need support, I do have some links in the description that may be of use to you. Again, talk to a family member, a trusted adult, a friend. You're never alone. Let's get started with today's video. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the dark past of Medfield State Hospital in Massachusetts. Opening in 1996, Medfield State Hospital was just 40 minutes from Boston. They specialized in treating individuals who suffered from schizophrenia, depression, bipolar disorders, and was home to about 2,300 psychiatric patients. The staff was dedicated to trying to rehabilitate patients suffering from these conditions. However, some major issues were in their way, including a lack of food, patients being abused, high amounts of overcrowding, and understaffing. The staff worked 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, and lived in the attics of the wards with the patients. The hospital wasn't really the safest or cleanest place either, death rates averaging 4 per week. This was also around the time of the influenza epidemic that hit the world in 1918. Many of the patients died, so many in fact that they couldn't continue burying patients, so the hospital had to start burying them at the hospital cemetery on site. Employees also fell ill, so proper care was not being given to the patients. A total of 95 employees contracted the disease, of which 5 of them lost their lives. 308 patients were also sick with the disease, taking the lives of 55 patients. Local belief that the grounds are haunted as a result of all the deaths that took place throughout the years. The 3 we are going to be highlighting today are of 3 patients being killed as a result of pure negligence and abuse by employees. Those 3 victims were William Spearing, an inmate at the asylum who died from shock of burns inflicted when he was put into a bathtub of scalding hot water and left unattended. Our second victim is Camillo Stazzulo, who was mysteriously found dead in his room. Upon examination, it was discovered that he had been brutally beaten and had sustained internal injuries to 12 of his ribs and injuries to his skull. Our third and final victim is of Mary Fitzgibbons, who escaped from the hospital in the winter of 1938. All efforts were made to find her, but it is very difficult to track in the nasty New England weather. All areas within a 20-mile radius of the hospital were notified, but unfortunately, February of 1939, her body was found in a pile of snow near Castle Hill off North Street, about 1 mile away from the hospital. Complaints of the overcrowded conditions continue, and for the first time, the hospital were now accepting younger patients, one of the youngest patients being 4 years old. With World War II, the men were enlisting, and the significant staff shortages got even worse. The better of the patients picked up the slack, caring for patients and even carrying keys of the facility. The patients looked after laundry, food services, and housekeeping. In the 1950s, new and revolutionary psychological drug was introduced for mental health facilities, drastically changing the way they treated mentally ill patients. With these new drugs, more patients were able to be discharged from the hospital. Then, the Kennedy administration also passed a law requiring all mental health patients to be housed or hospitalized in less restrictive settings. By the mid-1970s, most of the patients were moved from the hospital to community-based settings. The population continued to drop until the facility was nearly empty at only 200 patients. In 1999, the town raised concerns over the continued deterioration of the hospital. Working with Medfield State Hospital Prevention Committee and the local state representatives, the state approved a $500,000 grant to mothball the hospital in hopes of stopping further decay of the buildings, effectively closing them down for good. The last patients left Medfield State Hospital on April 3rd, 2003, and the property has been abandoned ever since. Alright, so today we are at Medfield State Hospital. As you can see, it's mostly been left abandoned. A lot of buildings have just kind of been left to rot. Doesn't look like they're really planning on doing anything with it. You can walk in here though, there are people in here, so it's not really too locked down, but it's a huge facility, so we're really gonna get to see everything today. Alright, so right now we're at one of the buildings. This is building 29. This one is one of many of the buildings here that have been left to just kind of in an abandoned state. Luckily, like I said, there's no barriers or anything. It just says, like, you know, don't enter the building, you can be arrested. So don't know if I'll really be able to get in anywhere, but this is what it looks like. So let's keep exploring this place because it's pretty cool. Looks like some people tried to get in here and weren't really successful at getting in here, but it's kind of a huge drop here, so probably pretty hard to get in. Okay, you can see in that too. Alright, so this looks like it was some type of storage facility that they had here, maybe where they stored extra equipment. But as you can see, the town has really put everything on lockdown, basically. You can't get into any of these buildings. Best to my knowledge, everything's kind of like just sitting here and really just decaying away. And God knows what it looks like inside, but you know, it looked like it just, you could see how weathered the building is and how much of it is really started to like wilt away on the outside. Honestly, like, some of these buildings are in pretty good condition. Obviously this is on the outside. Like, you take a picture of this looks like a brand new like wall, but it's like if you look out there you can really see the damage it had on a lot of these buildings. And you can see the big, I think that's like a water tower, I assume, over there, so we're gonna check that out at some point. I just really want to get like a full deep dive into what's around here. Looks like this is some type of corridor over here, but there are these, like, I don't know, it looks like these stairs must have led to something at some point, because you can see stairs going down and it just kind of ends off. But it was an insane asylum for mental patients, which honestly makes it 10 times more like kind of like spooky. A lot of the patients were abused, and honestly I'll get more into it as I do research, as I make, you know, this video. But just crazy to see it just sit here, and as you can see there are people in here, so it's not really that locked down, surprisingly. You can kind of get in here without any trouble. You just walk in. Alright, so this is the water tower. This is the only part of this whole complex that's really being kept up with, besides probably like the grass, because the grass does look kind of like they keep it up, because I feel like, you know, this thing's been abandoned for a good 50 years plus, so they definitely had to keep up with the grass at this facility. But I think this is the only part they really use still, is this water tower, and there's a pretty clear path here that's kind of already like paved out for them to drive on. Yeah, it's still very eerie, because like I see people a lot of people walking around here with their dogs, but I don't really think a lot of people know
about this place's past and really, you know, why it's like this. I feel like a lot of people just say like, hey, this is pretty cool, but you know, hospitals don't go out of business. You know, they don't just close unless there's a reason for it. You know, I'm not going to get into too much detail, but there's a hospital, actually it was more of like a medical center near my house that went out of business. And you know, a lot of people were saying, you know, like, oh my gosh, like all of our providers were at this hospital. Oh yeah, see, so much dog walking around. But this specific facility near where I live closed down. Everyone lost providers. No one really knew what happened. But apparently one facility came in and had bought something out, and then they countersued, and then it didn't really work out, and it kind of put, you know, a big strain on the facility. And the next day they literally just shut their doors and never opened it back up. That's not completely like the full story, there was more to it, but that's not really what this video is about. Look at this here, 1935. I don't know what this is, if it's like a old fire hydrant. That's what it looks like, to be honest with you. That's pretty cool. Looks like they tried doing some type of cleanup at one point, because this could be like a pile of dirt or something that's kind of just been overgrown by like plants and stuff. Wow, this is the only building where you can actually see the windows, which are surprisingly in really good condition compared to the rest of the building. Besides the ones that are broken from probably like teenagers like breaking in and just trying to wreck the place. Those windows look like brand new. Sorry, I was not focusing on those whatsoever. First fence I've seen, you know, first location I really can't go into. Sorry, I sound really stuffy. I think I have some like allergies or something, but yeah, look at that. It's just crazy that this whole thing is just kind of abandoned. It's a huge facility too. Like, I've probably seen like 10 buildings. Looks like there's just a path down here. This is one area I don't want to be in because the grass is so overgrown. Looks like it was just kind of driven on, but I don't want to get bit by like bugs or anything, so we're not going to be in here too long. But this looks like it must have been some type of like electrical building or some type of utility shed. This building, so you can see, let me get my finger in front of the camera, like right there, like some of the roof just kind of collapsed. I'm really watching my step because I don't want to fall. But oh, you know what, I didn't even notice that there's some words over there. I don't know if that's just another trespassing sign, but see if there's any more information we can get out of that. I found a building. I don't know if you could see anything in there, but even on the inside, you know what I just noticed? You can see like water drops. I don't know what you call that. What is that called? I have no idea, but it looks like it's definitely been weathered inside, because I could see stuff and cobwebs and debris just growing on the other side of that door. So it's definitely probably why they don't want people in here. Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Pretty crazy. Imagine this place at night. You know, imagine The Walking Dead. Has anyone seen you guys have seen The Walking Dead? Come on, imagine that here, somewhere like this. That'd be insane. So I didn't get to my pictures at the event, but this is the original church of the complex, like this medical complex. And they're holding some type of fair here. And I asked a lady who has like the keys, I guess, who like is responsible for this place, and she said I could come in. Pretty crazy. Wow. I don't know how often they do events like this here, but just looking at this building, how well preserved it is. There's no lights. Church, it's really creepy.
Alright, thank you for watching today's video. I do appreciate it. If you guys did enjoy today's video, please hit me with a like and a subscribe. Also, here and here, I'm going to be linking you guys to some other really amazing videos that you can go check out on my channel. Again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram to see all the pictures from Medfield State Hospital. Link in the description. And thanks for watching. Bye.